When it look like there's a group of black women that has attacked Caitlin Clark and her fan base online, ruffling old feathers.
On a streaming site, a gang of commentators recently targeted Caitlin Clark live, and the WNBA community as a whole is in utter disbelief over what they said. They showed no restraint. Nothing was sugarcoated by them. They also made their true feelings toward her and her admirers very apparent. The remarks were rude, aggressive, and, to be honest, very startling to hear aloud. Do you believe that attacks on Caitlin like this go too far, or is this a normal part of being a well-known professional athlete?
I totally agree with that, and I also think that I think that some of the new fans got a rude awakening when they did come to the W, because what happened was their fave was not the best. And so that was their issue. Like, I get that she was the rookie of the year. I understand that. But you're also battling and competing with people like Natasha Collier, with people like your own teammate Kelsey Mitchell, with other people who, like we've all said, have been here for a while, like the Breanna Stewarts, who have been here. So I'm confused as to why, like Diane Taurasi said, this is a grown woman's game, baby. Yeah. So, but we're gonna change the subject.
This is what transpired. During a panel discussion on the streaming program Playback, the topic of Caitlin Clark and her fan base inadvertently came up, and she was completely attacked by these women on the panel. We're not discussing thoughtful analysis or light criticism. We're talking about direct assaults on her skills, accomplishments, and supportive community. It had a horrible tone. Personal remarks were made, and the entire situation came across as more of a vengeance than sporting criticism. Let's begin with the actual statement. A presenter mentioned how Caitlin's followers entered the WNBA with these high hopes, believing she will become the league's best player right away. And when those supporters learned Caitlin wasn't dominating as they had anticipated, they had a nasty awakening. This source said. She mentioned that Caitlin was named the year's rookie. Yes, but she's up against well-known athletes like Breanna Stewart, A.A. Wilson, and even Kelsey Mitchell, a teammate of hers. The connotation was obvious. Everyone has to be reminded that Caitlin isn't as talented as her admirers believe. She then said something that truly made folks angry. She cited Diana Taurasi as saying, "This is a game best left to grown women." The message was clear. Even though Caitlin was a sensation in college, the WNBA is a different league, and she is not unique here. Compared to women who have been doing this for years, she is simply another player attempting to live. It was obviously intended to put Caitlin and her admirers in their proper place and was rude and patronizing.
You have no motion. You have 131 followers, and you're speaking on CC.
Here's where it gets worse, though. They immediately attempted to shift the topic after saying all these things about Caitlin's lack of talent. It seems as though they were aware that their words would cause issues, but were not concerned enough to stand by their stance. They took their shots, said what they had to say, and then continued as if nothing had happened. However, this entire tirade was snipped and circulated on social media within hours, so it was a huge issue. The response was swift and forceful. Fans of Caitlin were incensed. They criticized the panelists for being rude, overloaded the comment areas, and quoted and tweeted the videos, harsh and insulting. Many noted that prior to Caitlin's appearance, these same commentators had no issue with the WNBA being disregarded and despised. However, they now want to discredit her and pretend as though she is overrated now that she is attracting millions of new fans and significant attention to the league. The hypocrisy is outrageous.
I think a lot of these old guard WNBA media reporters, old guard WNBA fans is happy as hell. I truly think they happy. The fandom is over. The hype is over. Caitlyn stuff is over. They can go back to normal. Being in a sunken.
The timing of this entire thing is what aggravates me the most. Caitlin Clark was largely responsible for the WNBA's most successful season in history. There was an increase in attendance. TV ratings increased. Sales of merchandise increased. Engagement on social media was really high. This year, the league earned more money than it has in decades. All of it occurred as a result of Caitlyn's efforts to popularize women's basketball. Millions of people who had no interest in the WNBA suddenly began to watch games and purchase jerseys because of her. However, there is this group of traditional WNBA fans and media people that don't value that people appear to be truly upset about it. The fact that Caitlyn receives so much attention bothers them. They object to the fact that she is attracting more attention from new fans than from longtime league participants. They object to the fact that she is now the center of attention rather than the players they like in the WNBA. They thus seize any chance to disparage her achievements and attack her support base.
I said what I said. You said what you said, huh? You said, oh yeah, you is definitely a,
Let's face it, this is what's truly going on. In a league with a large black player base, Caitlin Clark is a white player. Additionally, some individuals find it quite offensive that she represents the WNBA. They believe it is unjust that she receives greater media attention than more or equally accomplished black athletes. They believe it is racist that she is being targeted by mainstream media and corporate sponsors rather than the league's black players. To be honest, there is some truth to that worry. The way the WNBA markets its black players in comparison to its white players has long been problematic. That is a legitimate issue that merits discussion. Here's the problem, though. Trying to discredit Caitlyn and attacking her personally won't resolve the issue. It only gives the league a petty, dysfunctional appearance. Black players should be promoted if you want them to receive greater prominence. Get them excited. Make interesting content about them. Don't waste your time attempting to dissuade others that Caitlin Clark lacks basketball skill. It is simply untrue. She has earned her place in the league by working hard and being talented. While advocating for improved representation of other players, you may also acknowledge that something else that has been simmering beneath the surface the entire season was also exposed by the comments on that playback feed. Many seasoned WNBA fans are relieved that Caitlyn's fervor is beginning to wane. Now that the season is over, fewer people are discussing the league because there are no games to watch. Engagement on social media is declining. The number of WNBA-related YouTube views is dropping. And since it means that everything can return to normal, some individuals are cheering that. Instead of dealing with millions of casual fans that merely came for Caitlyn, they would like to have a tiny, devoted fan base that is focused on the players they care about. When you consider that thinking, it's out of control. For decades, the WNBA has been pleading for attention, fighting for financial stability, and seeing players depart to earn more money abroad. Then Caitlin Clark appears and gives the league a level of widespread recognition that has never been experienced before. And other individuals are deliberately hoping for it to fail rather than accepting that and working out how to keep it going. They are glad that the excitement is subsiding. They desire that the casuals go. They favor a smaller, less well-known league that meets their particular needs. The issue with that mindset is this. To stay afloat, the WNBA needs funding. Sponsors, TV partnerships, ticket sales, and product money are all necessary. All of those elements necessitate widespread popularity and a sizable fan following. The league will experience financial difficulties once more if it returns to being a niche product that only die-hard supporters are interested in. Players will still receive awful pay and play in appalling circumstances. Because some people were unable to cope with Caitlin Clark drawing attention to the league, the cycle will continue. The issue of how this seems to possible new admirers is another. Someone who became interested in the WNBA because of Caitlin watches this webcast in which panelists disparage her and make fun of her followers. How will they respond to this? Most likely along the lines of, "Why would I back a league where the guy I came to watch is aggressively demonized by the media?" It detracts from the WNBA's image and drives away the precise individuals the league ought to be attempting to maintain involvement with. And since these panelists brought up the Rookie of the Year issue, let's take a moment to discuss it. They admitted that Caitlyn had won the prize, but they sought to minimize it right away by claiming that she was up against well-known celebrities. Yes, that is how professional sports operate. Veterans are always the competition for rookies. That doesn't lessen the impact of earning Rookie of the Year. She was talented enough in her rookie season to stand out among players who have been in the league for years, which actually makes it more amazing. In her career, Caitlin averaged more than 19 points and 8 assists each game. First season. For anyone, let alone a first-year player, those are quite impressive stats. She had the most assists in the league. She set several rookie records. She was instrumental in transforming the Indiana Fever from one of the league's poorest teams into a postseason contender. Just because certain talking heads on a stream chose to downplay their successes doesn't mean they vanish. But now that Caitlin's rookie season is done, there is a broader trend of people attempting to change the narrative surrounding it. Because of the wins and the figures, even her detractors had to concede that she was playing well during the season. It's simpler now since basketball isn't being played. TO began promoting alternate stories. In reality, she wasn't that good. Her admirers are naive. Her race was the sole reason she received notice. The other freshmen performed equally well or better. The purpose of this revisionist history is to intentionally undermine her accomplishments. This situation's racial component is difficult and awkward, but it must be addressed. Indeed, Caitlin gains from being a white player in terms of business sponsorships and public attention. There is no denying that fact. White athletes have always been given preference in the sports media, and the WNBA is no different. It's unfair that equally skilled black athletes aren't given the same opportunity. However, venting your annoyance on Caitlin doesn't make things better. This system was not invented by her. She is merely functioning within it and carrying out her duties. The WNBA and its media partners would actively work to promote black stars in addition to Caitlin if they truly intended to address the discrepancy in attention. They would develop marketing campaigns and storylines centered on athletes like Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, and Asia Wilson. Instead of focusing all the attention on one player, they would showcase the amazing talent throughout the league. However, something necessitates intentionality and effort, which seems excessive. Attacking Caitlin and her supporters is a simpler alternative. In all of this, it's also easy to forget that Caitlin has treated the league and her fellow players with the utmost respect. She doesn't disparage other individuals. She makes no pretense of superiority. She plays hard, shows up, and acknowledges both her opponents and teammates. She has shown incredible maturity in navigating the scrutiny and pressure of being the league's most well-known athlete. And some people decide to treat her in return in this manner. This stream's timing is questionable as well. It took place during the WNBA's labor discussions and the potential for a lockout. At the moment, the league is in a precarious position. This was the ideal opportunity for everyone to join and show their shared desire to advance the sport and improve it for everybody. Rather, media personalities on streaming sites are targeting the league's top talent and sowing discord. Nobody benefits from this self-destructive activity. What these panelists hope to achieve with their remarks is another matter to consider. Did they anticipate that after hearing this, Caitlin's admirers would suddenly come to the conclusion that she is overrated? Did they believe they were offering something worthwhile, knowledge that no one else has thought of? Or were they merely expressing their annoyances and relishing the attention that comes with making contentious statements? It appears that they knew exactly what they were doing based on their attempt to swiftly shift the topic after saying it. Before they encountered any serious opposition, they wanted to get their shots in and move on. The entire circumstance exemplifies the WNBA's primary issue, which is that the league continuously betrays itself. People in the WNBA ecosystem are aggressively trying to undermine them now that they have achieved financial success and public recognition. Whether the league is always being held back by this strange self-destructive propensity, whether it is players making crude fun of Caitlin on the court, media outlets downplaying her achievements in their coverage, or panelists disparaging her on streams. The fans have had enough. They are sick and weary of seeing the WNBA repeatedly fail itself. They are fed up with the unfair criticism that Caitlin receives for actions taken by other players who go unpunished. They are fed up with the negativity, the drama, and the never-ending attempts to stir up unnecessary controversy. All they want is to watch excellent basketball and cheer for gifted athletes without any extraneous drama. The unfortunate thing is that this could have been a time for development and advancement. The WNBA was gaining traction. They gained new admirers. They had money. They had the opportunity to construct a sustainable structure. However, rather of leveraging that, we're reverting to the dysfunction and internal strife that have afflicted the league for many years. Many of those who claim to love the WNBA but are unable to cope with its eventual rise in popularity are the source of much of that dysfunction. What are your thoughts on this, then? Is it inappropriate for these panelists to target Caitlyn in this way? Or do they have good reasons to criticize how the league advertises various gamers? This discussion is far from ended, so please share your thoughts in the comments. To ensure you don't miss any more WNBA coverage or commentary, click the like button and subscribe.